Pop a perky just to start a pop it. Pop 2 cups of purple just to warm up. 2 cups, drink. I heard your bitch, she got that water. Splash, drink, woo, splash.
3, 2, 1. Welcome
to Up in the Air.
We have some special guests from Woke Brunch.
Woo!
So I'm Jubilee. I go by DJ Nuna, and I have some really special guests. Clarence and I decided to do a girls' week and a guys' week, so we can talk about some other topics and get some new perspectives. But yeah, do you two want to introduce yourselves and maybe how you met originally and how we know each other too?
My name is Lena. Do I introduce myself? Okay, my name is Lena and I am a senior in health informatics. I'm passionate about creativity, whether it's with photography sometimes. I am very explorative when it comes to the arts and creative outlets. Bullet journaling and videography and all sorts of stuff. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Indri. I'm a senior in the Foster School of Business. I'm studying marketing and information systems. And I am in AIM with Jubilee and Lena, currently the marketing director, and it's been a fun time. So me and Lena met a long time ago, middle school, but we didn't get close until junior year of high school, and we've been really close friends since then. And we started Woke Brunch because I remember that we both had a phase in college where we wanted to do curation of playlists on Spotify, and we really loved music, so we wanted to share that knowledge to everyone. But we recently ended our run because we are both busy and I'm graduating, so yeah.
So everyone Woke Brunch. I was super inspired by Lena and Indri because when we were starting AIM, they had me and the other officers as guests on the show, and that was my first time in the studio and interacting with Rainy Dog Radio, and I applied the quarter after. So shout out to them for the birth of Up in the Air. Seriously, I wouldn't have known about it without them. And yeah, I don't know, we were just really excited to bring it all back together. As Indri mentioned, we are really close, and I met Indri through Lena. I met Lena through my friend Toby. We all met through mutual friends, and it's been history. But yeah, so we just went through introductions, and for topics today, we did want to talk about things that we could talk about as women. I'm super proud to be friends with Indri and Lena because they are really strong women in my life that I look up to, and I feel like we always have really interesting and fruitful conversations. But yeah, we kind of wanted to talk about things related to relationships and singlehood, friendships, and things like that.
Single ladies right here.
How about we go around and say what our current how, maybe let's do a check-in first, how are people doing emotionally, mental health wise, and then maybe say your status.
Currently, I'm finishing my last quarter, so everything is just getting really busy and my schedule is just getting more compact. So yeah, everything just revolves around schoolwork now, and also real work and AIM and stuff like that. But I've been working out and doing yoga, so I think that part of being the mindfulness part of it is definitely something that to keep in mind, to keep a positive mindset. But my status currently, I'm single. Have been for 3 years. Oh, 2 years. And yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I hate it, but just living life, I guess.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about like the ups and downs because we know that a lot of women go through those different phases and process things differently. So we wanted to share like our own experiences with the audience. So yeah, Lena, how about you?
For me, so I am in a relationship, and I guess like my how I'm feeling, basically, it's like everything that you feel when you're like nearing graduation, the anxiety almost, but then like coronavirus on top of that is like producing more anxiety. So it's like trying to deal with that, or learning how to deal with that and cope with like how do you deal with uncertainty and not knowing really what's there out there in the future. So I guess I'm working on like putting my mind into new perspective and learning, looking at another, looking things into another light. But yeah, I'm definitely looking into going back into yoga. I just haven't done that yet, but definitely think that I should start like meditating more and trying to, especially in this pandemic. But yeah.
I Indri and I were talking about how we started the Chloe Ting workouts. If you know what that is, Chloe Ting is a fitness blogger on YouTube, and she has like a super intense like 2-week shred workout series, and I think I did it for like 4 days and then I stopped. But Indri, have you been doing it pretty diligently?
I tried to, but today was supposed to be my last day, but I have so much homework to do, so I'm going to skip that. But I'm gonna say that, you know, I'm still proud of myself in like doing, I don't know, like 70% of the workout. So yeah.
I think it's been during the pandemic, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you have the opportunity to improve yourself, work on yourself. But at the same time, like Lena said, it's really hard to function when there's a lot of uncertainty and our schedules are so different than how they used to be. And yeah, I think for myself, like I started feeling pretty shitty about my image, my body image, because I was eating a lot and I wasn't working out and I was not even being active, like, you know, not walking, like I would just stay at home. So I think Chloe Ting was like a good refresher of like, oh, okay, this is how like it feels to be more active. But I also think there's cons to like working with an instructor that has like a perfect body and like
Yeah.
like she's very like petite and yeah she's
Like it's like toned. Yeah, like her stomach, I was like, dang, she did that. Like she did that.
yeah. But yeah, I think it's been good to figure out a good balance with like eating healthy and then trying to be more active. And then I also learned like you can't really improve yourself if you're going in with the mindset like, ugh, I feel so shitty about myself. Like I'm doing this to like lose weight, or I'm doing this to feel better about myself. Like I just don't think that's the best way to go. But
I think like the best way to pursue like workouts is like, I don't know, as I said, like putting like a positive mindset as opposed to like, you know, oh, I want to like lose weight. I mean, that could be a positive thing too, but I think there's like a negative connotation under that. But I would just suggest like just thinking about, I guess, like, you know, this could be like a stress reliever and could be something different that you can add to your life and stuff like that. So yeah.
For sure. I think yeah, Indri was super like encouraging, like, dude, like weight gain isn't always bad. Like you're getting more muscle, like you're getting more toned. And I also think like numbers can be really, really unhealthy to look at. Because when I was an RA in the dorms, I didn't have a scale, so I wasn't like checking how much I weighed. And then at home my parents have a scale, and I'm like, I don't really like that. But yeah. But yeah, to get back into our topics, oh yeah, I am single as well.
Life.
Yeah, we can go around and say, here's a fun question. If you could go back in time and tell yourself one piece of advice before you started your first relationship, what would you tell your younger self?
I guess since my first relationship was 2 years ago, it was kind of like a weird relationship where we both thought that, it was going to be serious. But I think like we also both had doubts in both ourselves. So it was like kind of like I don't know, we were really young, I suppose. I don't know, he was like 22, I was like 20, so not that young, but I think we're just pretty immature, and he was just out of like a relationship with another girl of like 2 years. So I think what I would have recommended my younger self, or when I was still seeing him, is to get out of a relationship when you know that they are toxic. I know that it's so hard to do, but I think I realize now that I've been on dating apps and like meeting guys and stuff like that, and once I know that they portray a toxic kind of trait, like I would just like ghost them. Like I don't know, I think it's both like, yeah, I think it's both like a defensive mechanism, but also trying to overcome like the trauma I've had from like my past relationships. So yeah, I would say to leave the relationship when it's toxic.
That's good. How about you, Lean?
My advice would be, okay, so right now I'm dating someone and he's like about almost 2 years younger than me. So I guess like in the beginning of my relationship, I was like, like how will this work out? How is this panning out in the future? Before I even started getting into a relationship with him, like I started fantasizing about what would happen like in a few years before I even started getting to know him first, And I guess like my advice would be to like not hold everything to the highest standards in my mind, because even though he might be a little younger than me and I was very uncertain about the future, I've learned and grown a lot through this relationship, and I've learned more things about myself, and I'm not perfect either, and things about me that I should change. So I guess like don't go into a relationship thinking this is the one all the time. I guess like if you like the person, that's great, and I guess what are the chances that you meet somebody that you both have this connection with? Like take that opportunity to explore and grow with your partner. Yeah, that's my advice.
Wow, that touched me.
I think like both points that you two made, like it's really good to find like a sweet spot. Like I think, Lena, you're talking kind of about like being, because when we're young, we're super naive, Like I remember with my first partner, I thought I was gonna marry the dude, and it's so easy to fall really quickly and like fantasize about the relationship, but then also to like draw the line and know when to leave, because I think that it can be really tempting to stay with someone when you have a lot of like sentiment in the relationship, like, oh, this is my first partner, like I want to make it work, but it's hard to discern. Like it's crazy when you're thinking like, oh, I wish I like knew this earlier, or like could have seen that red flag earlier, when really like when you're young, you're kind of like, I like red, so
That's fine. I didn't see that.
No, wait. I love the meme of DW, and she's like looking at the door, and there's a sign. She's like,
love that.
But yeah, I think for me, if I were to go back, I would really, I don't know. There's a lot of things that I thought was normal, and I wish I knew it wasn't necessarily normal. But I think, I wish I just knew what healthy boundaries look like, and healthy like arguments or conversations look like. I think it's really easy to get skewed of like what actual support from your partner looks like when you're young and you haven't been exposed to that. Like you've been exposed to like support from your family and your friends, but then from a partner it looks different. So I kind of wish I knew like what was healthy. Yeah, I guess like knowing what is toxic, because when you're super in love with someone, it's really hard to tell like what is degrading like your sense of self. So I think it's hard. Like I don't know. Your relationship was 2 years ago, Indri.
Yeah, and I think I agree with your point, because I don't think I set boundaries. It's like for myself, like upset to know like where they are all the time, what they're doing, because you're scared that they might repeat the mistake that they've done and stuff like that. And that really fucked, my mental health, and definitely put like trauma on me. But at the end of the day, I think I learned a lot from that relationship, and I don't think I regret it. But I did feel like I shouldn't have gone through that route, in terms of first relationship. But yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. So
Yeah, I think it's really amazing when you finally get to reach a point where you don't regret your past. And I think that's when you do achieve like a true sense of self-forgiveness. Because I think it's another thing to like forgive them for hurting you, but it's even harder to like forgive yourself and get over the thoughts of like, how could I put myself through that? Like, how did I not know my self-worth? But really, like, it says so much more about, the person than you. So I think that's something that I struggled with a lot when I am young. I'm still really young.
yeah. We're all young.
So young. I feel like there's such a pressure to, like, as women, to have our shit together and, like, be with someone. Okay, wait, that makes me sound so single, but really it's like, I'm only 21. Like, how am I supposed to know what 5 years are going to look like for me? Especially like if I'm with someone, like that is hard to like determine, I feel like. So
yeah, like my sister-in-law, she's actually like our age. So I think like she's like one of the odd ones, or like the exceptions, but not odd, but exceptions. But yeah, I think she loves it. I think, the majority of people of our age, like I feel like they want to explore more than like settle. So I think it depends on the people. But at the same time, I think I just want to bring up the point, like singlehood can be really lonely. I think, if your relationship too can be lonely, like it depends. But yeah, I think, you crave like so much like physical, intimacy, and also like attention from people, or just from, I don't know, like however, like girls or guys or whatever. And it's just hard sometimes, like realizing that, being by yourself is like ultimately what happiness is, I guess. Like, I think if you can be happy with yourself, you can be happy with whoever.
Definitely. I think, Lena, you've been in a relationship for over a year. Do you ever? Well, okay, I'm not trying to put you in a weird.
No, I get it. Yeah.
I know Lena's boyfriend. He's really awesome. Shout out to Austin. But do you ever think about, or when you were getting into this relationship, did you feel really content being single, or do you think you struggled with that along the way, or yeah?
Before this relationship, I was single for a very, very long time. And I've gone fucked over by boys too, and I think like that has helped me realize where to pinpoint red flags more easily and where to notice them when I meet people. But I guess like me being single, I do kind of look back at myself, and the times that I was single, it was more like most of my thoughts were about myself, like self-growth and mindfulness, I guess. But when I'm in a relationship, it's like all about my boyfriend. Like I think about my boyfriend all the time, you know? And sometimes I kind of miss just having to think about myself and like having space to like think about what I want to do, what I want, stuff like that. Because now that I'm in a relationship, most of my time is like spending with my significant and like thinking about our future together, kind of like fantasizing about that. But I guess sometimes I do miss that independency, like being single, because I don't know, I just feel like I have a lot more freedom, and it is very what's the word? It's like you're more happy about yourself, and not like I feel bad about myself in the relationship, but I feel like I don't need a man, you know, I'm single, it's like whatever, you know, like that kind of feeling I get sometimes. So yeah, self-love.
Pride, yeah, self-love.
Yeah. No, for real, like I totally see like where you're coming from. Like you can totally be in a relationship and love your partner, but still like miss that independency, because that is like essentially what a partnership is. Like you're doing life together, and it's obviously different from living life on your own. But yeah, Indri, I definitely agree. You know, I think for some time of singlehood, it's really like fun. It's like really glamorous. Like, oh my gosh, I can do whatever I want, and I can like hang out with whoever. Like you can just do what you want. But yeah, I think it's definitely hard to navigate. I think one thing that I faced after going through a bad not a bad relationship, but a bad breakup, was, you know, you kind of go through the relationship and you leave with a lot of insecurities, and whether or not they were already there before or because your partner projected it onto you. But when you're single, you have to kind of affirm yourself and not get attention from someone else. And I think navigating those insecurities can be really hard, especially like with rejection, or if things don't play out the way that you wanted it to. Like processing like the trauma. I think a lot of my insecurities are rooted in emotional trauma, and it's hard to forgive yourself. Like, why did I stay in that relationship for like over a year, you know?
Yeah, and like I feel like you would be like blinded at that time, like you were wearing like rose tinted glasses. Like the things that they do, you think, you know, oh my god, it's so romantic, but it's like the bare minimum. And it's like you reflect over that and it's like, oh shit, yeah, they did treat me wrong.
Yeah. But it's also like, if any of the viewers are like, if you're going into your first relationship or you're young, like I also believe in like what Lena said about how things do pan out the way that they're supposed to be, and everything does fall into place. And even when you like feel something in your heart, like, oh, I don't think this is right, or I kind of want to bounce, like it ultimately happens when it's supposed to happen, I think. And you know, God's plan. A question. Oh, you know, you go for it first.
Yeah, I was gonna like commend Lena about saying that, about being vulnerable, about, you know, like sharing your life with someone. Like the fact that like she thinks a lot about her boyfriend now, and also about herself, but more for her boyfriend. So it's like, you know, that's why you need to probably wait, or like find like the right person if you want to be in a serious relationship, because ultimately you're gonna share like your life with someone and your opinions and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was gonna say,
I think thank you, Lena, for being so vulnerable, because I think it's also hard to talk about your relationship when you're in a relationship. Yeah, but we were kind of talking about it earlier, and like Lena, you can maybe talk about like your experiences before your relationship, but what are some things that, like, what are some toxic traits that you have recognized throughout your life, that whether that's in yourself or in another person, because I know I have been toxic, so I can recognize that now. But yeah, what are some like things that you've noticed or are, you know, continuous trends or things like that?
About yourself, or
I mean, it could be about yourself. It could be about someone else, like when you're dating or something.
I think for me, like, I mean, since I was, you know, just out of like a really toxic relationship, I think what I've noticed about myself is when I'm in a relationship, I tend to like be more quiet about my opinion because I don't want to upset them, or I think I'm also like a hopeless romantic. So whenever I feel like I want to speak up about something that will like ruin the chance of me being with them. And I guess a second one is I tend to be really like petty. I don't know if that's toxic, but it's like I wouldn't, you know, answer their text message for like 3 days because I would be like, I'm mad, like I'm giving them the silent treatment. Or just like, I don't know, doing something that is kind of manipulative and like for them to give me attention and like what I want. So I think that's what I've discovered like in terms of myself. But yeah, I did have like an experience in like getting gaslighted and stuff like that, and that's not good. So yeah, I don't know if you guys relate to that, but that fucked me up. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna get into another relationship.
I think that I literally learned about the term gaslighting.
I was like, what is that?
Oh, okay, yeah. So, okay, I learned about gaslighting during my RA training. So shout out to that because we do a little sector on violence in relationships, both emotionally and physically. And then yeah, when they were reading that, I was like, wow, I didn't know there was a name for this thing. But it's basically when your partner, Indri, like chip in whenever, but it's kind of like when your partner manipulates you and makes you feel like invalidated for what you say and kind of makes you feel like you're insane for feeling how you feel. So it's like an example would be if they do something really, really bad to you and you're reacting a certain way, and then the way that they respond to you makes you feel crazy for being hurt, then that's kind of like a form of gaslighting. I don't want to say like a specific scenario, but it's just like a form of manipulation that's really emotionally abusive. Is there anything like that I missed? I don't know. It's like
No, I think you covered it because I think yeah, that's definitely what I went through. It was just really bad because you feel like, you know, you feel like your feelings are validated like when you're just by yourself, but then when you're with them they're like, oh, what, like it's not that bad, and like they made excuses and stuff like that and made you feel worse. And yeah, it makes you feel like you don't trust yourself ultimately and your feelings. So
yeah, I think that was the main, like one of the main reasons that I was able to tell like, oh, this is not healthy and this is not a good situation, because I would oftentimes feel really, really bad about the situation or my partner, like feel really bad about what they did to me, and then I would slowly convince myself like, oh, I'm overreacting or I'm being crazy. First of all, I hate when people use crazy for women because it's really just invalidating and makes you feel like you're super emotionally unstable when you're just reacting the way that you should be. But then like with my friends, I would share about it, and then they'd be like, that is like not okay at all. So I think that gaslighting, it's a newer term for me. Like I literally found out about it in the summer, but it's been like, I should have known. Yeah. But Lena, you mentioned like before you got into your relationship, like you went through lots of like trials and tribulations in terms of singlehood. So like maybe share really broadly about that.
Yeah, so
Anyone?
so yeah, just hoping that they don't watch this. But anyways, I guess what the toxicity that I've been through was, I guess, so I don't know how to put it in broader terms, but it's I don't care actually. I'm just gonna say it. So basically, it's just like, so I'm a pretty stubborn person. I think I learned out about myself like pretty recent, but I guess whenever I liked a boy back then, they're always like players, you know, they always have girls hanging around, you know. So I'm just a stubborn person and I cling on to them for a long time. And I guess like their toxic personality is just them being a player and thinking that they have all the girls they want, they can do whatever they want with them without thinking about how they feel, you know. And for me, I resemble Indri when it becomes to the obsessive point, because once you can't get what you can't or you can't have what you can get, is that how you say it?
You can't get what you can have.
Yeah, but yeah, you kind of get obsessive and you're like, okay, I need to get it, like I need to get to that point because then I'll be happy, kind of thing. But yeah, that was my toxic trait, and what I learned from it now is once I start seeing like guys kind of act that certain way where they're kind of wishy-washy on things and never really straightforward with you, that's when it's time to move on, because you shouldn't be the one to wait, like exactly, you shouldn't be able to wait. Like if the person likes you, they like you and it's meant to be, but you shouldn't wait on that person and kind of go and explore other paths. But yeah, that's what I learned from it, and from that experience I've learned to easily move on from guys. Hopefully, I hope it doesn't happen again. But yeah.
No, I remember because Lena and I kind of were getting closer during when one of these situations was going on, and I remember being like, girl, you cannot you should not chase, like you have like all the guys that, I don't know, like Lena be pulling, so
Bro.
I'm chasing you, like you don't want to chase after a dude, because I like this quote from Anna Kana where if a guy likes you, you will know. If he doesn't, you will be confused. I think it's actually really true. But I agree. I mean, I think everyone can be petty. I actually take some pride in it. Like, I feel like all of my girlfriends and we be doing the most sometimes. But I don't know. I feel like that's kind of not exciting.
It gives like a little spice to the relationship.
Flavor. Yeah. Like, where's the flavor?
Oh my god.
Okay, I'll try to talk about like a different toxic trait that I had, but I agree with, I've done all of your toxic traits. I would say really, yeah, my toxic trait is projecting my insecurities. Like, I think whether it's body image or like having faith in your partner, or I don't know, silly things. I think it's really easy for me to receive things in a bad way, and overthink situations where that's honestly not what the intention was, but then I receive it in a negative way because I'm super insecure. Like jealousy is rooted in insecurity. I think in my first relationship I really struggled with jealousy, especially when you're like starting college. I was starting college and you're just exposed to so many people and like going to different things and events, so it's hard not to feel like, oh, am I pretty enough? Am I attractive enough? Like, I think that's really silly, but when you're young and when you're still building up your confidence, like that's a reality. I'm still working on it now. Like I said, I'm still I would say I'm still insecure, but I have learned how to not project it onto people. Hopefully. And then I think a really visible toxic trait when you are interacting with others is when the things that they do make you feel less like yourself, or you feel suppressed by your partner. Like I think in my most recent in my most recent relationship, a lot of my friends were like, Juby, like the thing that we know you, or the thing that we love about you most is how unapologetic you are, but then in the relationship you're like overly apologetic and you're so quick to think that you're wrong or you can't stand up for yourself. So I think that's like when you know, like if this person isn't like enhancing your life and not that they have to support you completely, but like egging you on and supporting you, then I think that you should never have to ask of that from your partner. That should be the bare minimum, I think.
I agree.
And yeah, I think society does tell women to like have a low bar, but that's stupid. So
Honestly, like, what the fuck? Do you like the prettiest girls get like the ugliest boyfriends and they would cheat on them?
yeah.
Why?
Like the 2-0 whatever couple.
Yeah, do y'all remember the 93044, like that Geoff dude? No.
I can't believe.
I can't.
She's so beautiful.
And he's like this shrimpy ass. Like he's like 5'5", I feel like. Just kidding, sorry. Height doesn't matter. But
You're like 5'1".
I know. We're all three of us are really short, but I feel like we like tall dudes.
Yeah, too tall sometimes.
Yeah,
no.
Maybe let's go around and say our types.
Wait, yeah, this would be fun.
Should we say it for each other?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's do Indri.
Okay.
It's so easy. Like I have a vision in my mind.
I would say that he's very different. Like you wouldn't, it's not like your average type of guy. Kind of like he has like a feature in his personality that makes him very different from other people.
Quirky.
Like, huh?
Quirky.
Yeah, quirky, or has like an occupation that's like cool, or I don't know, something really interesting about them, you know. And I can see him like liking your type of music. I feel like music is a big thing for you, so if you guys have the same music genre, then it's perfect. It's just gonna, yeah. Maybe a little like musically inclined, like plays some little instrument, you know. I feel like you'd like that. Also somebody that's politically, or a social advocate, somebody you can talk about political issues with and not really get mad about and start like a debate. And I guess he's more chill, because I feel like you would bring out, you're like the more outgoing and very hyper type of person, and I feel like you need somebody that's more chill to balance it out. And yeah.
Wait, me and Lena actually did like wait, you remember during Panera, and we were eating at Panera and we were like, oh my gosh, like, well, how would you see yourself in like 10 years? Like, who would you want to date? And then Lena was like, oh, Indri, I think I see you with like a Middle Eastern dude. And you would see him like at a cafe.
I like a whole scenario, like how you would meet him.
And he plays guitar.
Yes, your mans would play guitar. I feel like
You guys have like almost the same type. Like,
yeah. Like I told Lena that hers, okay, at that time she really loved white guys. So I was like, I think yours is like white.
I just know it.
like you all did have the same type for a little bit.
Yeah. I think our school was like, I mean, your high school was also white, right?
Yeah, but I would never.
I wouldn't. I don't see. No, everybody but white.
Because Indri's type is like indie, white dude,
Stop.
has a beard probably, like facial hair. Like
Yeah,
Tom,
a little like shaggy, I guess.
shaggy. He wears like the hat that has like those straight caps. Likes to wear those like Mexican like poncho things. But they're handsome still. But I don't know. Do you all believe that you have like a type? Like those are the people you actually date? Because for me, I feel like I have a type, like an aspirational type, but I don't end up dating those dudes. I end up dating like a different kind of guy. Because I feel like my type is like, actually wait, what's my type again?
Lena, go.
Oh gosh.
One that's very creative, like Indri. I feel like, but a little more on the arts side. Like if he makes videos, also he could dress up into like being a really, I don't know if I'm using the correct term, hipster. Hipster. But yeah. Also someone's very funny. Very, very
love
funny.
funny guys.
Somebody that you can just bounce off like jokes with, you know?
It's rare for me to find guys funny.
Yeah. Tall guys, especially you want a tall guy. Yeah, I think that's it. Also good hair. You have to have good hygiene, everything. Yeah. For both of you.
Yeah, so basically everything needs to be good.
Everything. I think the same. Like, the guys that are really like, you know, creatively inclined, like they love photography, but also like they have, you know, like quote unquote like a passion in other things too, or like commitments in other things. And then yeah, they have to have a good style, really tall. Not lanky. I don't know. I don't see you with a lanky dude. Well, actually, no. I see you with a lanky dude.
I see them both actually. But...
Yeah.
Guys I've dated are like really lanky.
Except one, right? I think.
Wait, which? Actually, tell me later.
Oh my god. And they have to be understanding, I guess. I don't know. I feel like that's everyone, but like understanding of your feelings and be really, I don't know, like caring.
I feel like they have to be like connected with their emotions.
Yeah.
I feel like you like talking about emotions.
Emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because I remember, this guy asked me like what my type was, and I was explaining it to him, and it was like honestly saying the things that you two were saying, but then I was like, but I haven't really dated guys that are like that though, and so they were like, how can you call it your type if you don't date them? And I was like, and then I think that's when I was like, okay, yeah, there kind of is like your type and then an aspirational type.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's also like based off of your past experiences, like you kind of develop a stronger taste of like what your type is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like I do really like humor in a dude though. I think, like, I don't know. The worst
Twitter humor.
Yeah. I want a guy that is on TikTok. Just kidding. But yeah, okay, we are running low on time, but I think it was super fun to kind of go over like, you know, the ups and downs. I think singlehood can be both empowering and both sometimes discouraging at times, but it's good to experience both. We'll go around one more time, like what is one what is just a word of encouragement that you want to say to people?
I don't know. Relative to whether they're single or in a relationship?
It can be, you can target it towards that topic of like singlehood or relationships, or you can just do it in general, like with whatever you've been seeing as well.
Well, like the fact that we have a pandemic currently, I think, has definitely impacted both our mental health, and also the way we interact with people. We, see less of our friends and stuff. And it's just like still really strange to me that, we can communicate through like a camera. Like, I don't know, it's just less genuine. So that, maybe it's probably like hard for some people, especially ones that may have, like bad circumstance and stuff like that. In terms of, singlehood and relationship, like I think this is a great time to go on dating apps if you're single, but it's also a great time to not be on dating apps. Like me, I deleted all of my accounts because I've grown tired of boys. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of like self-growth activities and just spending time by myself and my family and doing a lot of baking. Bon Appetit is the way to go. That's my new like boyfriend, Brad from Bon Appetit. If Ree's watching, she knows me.
More like from scratch. I just use box mixes.
But yeah.
You, Indri. For mine, I would say, I think, like Indri says, like with the pandemic, it's really easy for you to get trapped in your own thoughts because you're not really doing much. You're just sitting at home, most likely, or like, I don't know, for most of us, I guess. I guess if you're like the really productive person, then it's different. But for most of us, we're like more in our thoughts than usual, and it's really easy to kind of think about the negative emotions of singlehood or like what you're doing in the future and uncertainty. And I guess like my word advice for everyone is to be strong and also do things that make you happy and do like helpful reminders for yourself each day that make you happy, like what you like about yourself, words of encouragement for yourself. Also like incorporating like meditating and everything for those who are struggling with anxiety. So yeah.
That's good, Lean. That's good.
Woo.
Yes, and I think for my piece of advice, I'll target it towards like relationships and stuff like that. I would say I truly believe that you do need to be content with yourself before entering in a relationship, and contentedness can feel more surface level, like, oh, I feel happy, I feel good about myself, like I feel like I'm over the last relationship, so I think I'm ready. But it's really not just that, but I think it's like super deep. Like even if you think you're content, you should not be, because it's also about like confidence and how secure that you feel. And I think I don't know, I feel like God, I'm a religious person, so I feel like God gives me signs about whether or not like I'm content or not. I feel like I lie to myself. I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm more confident these days, but really, internally it's kind of hard to address, those insecurities. But I think that when you are ready, you will truly know. We oftentimes tell ourselves like, oh, are you ever truly ready? And I kind of think yes, you do reach a point where you are. So
Yeah.
slow and be gracious with yourself. But yeah, before we sign off, we want to do our songs of the week. Indri, you want to go first?
Okay, let me pull it out.
What were your names again?
Is it one song or just a couple of songs?
Just one song that you are bumping this week.
So since Tom Misch released his album, I'm like in love with him. He's so like, spicy white. What Kind of Music by Tom Misch. It's like an experimental R&B slash jazz, and he collaborated with Yusuf Davis, and he's a drummer. Super good. Like his riffs in like all of the songs in the album is like iconic. So listen to it, the album, especially What Kind of Music. It's the #1 song.
Thomas.
Mine is Stay Lost, the Kaboom remix. I chose this song because it's a little upbeat and makes me want to dance. So I guess in the light of the pandemic, like uplift it, if you want to listen to something that to uplift your spirits and get you up and moving, I guess this is a song for you. And yeah.
Love that.
We're gonna go ham.
Yes.
Yeah. My song is by Jess Connolly. She's an R&B, kind of like alternative R&B artist, but the song is called Hooked / Good Lover. It's super good. I just discovered it through my Discover Weekly, and I love it. So yeah, everyone, make sure to check out the playlist in the description box below.
Oh, YouTuber. Okay.
Subscribe down below.
Like button.
What's your favorite music of the week?
But to any of the new watchers, if you want to follow my girls, like their contacts will be down below as well.
Put us with a follow button on Instagram.
Yeah, thank you so much. As per usual, we hope that everyone's staying healthy, staying inside if you're able to. And Clarence will be back next week with one of his boys, I think. I don't know yet.
Jordan?
It's Clef.
Sorry, Jordan. Thank you and bye.